let's talk about one of the strangest things about our modern world. Something so bizarre that if you explained it to someone from the 1800s, they'd think you were describing a magic trick. Every country, literally everyone, is in debt. The United States? Trillions in the red. Japan? More debt than money. European nations? Deep in the hole. Developing countries? Even worse. It doesn't matter if a country is rich, poor, powerful, tiny, democratic, authoritarian, or somewhere in between. They all owe money to someone. Which leads us to the question that makes everybody go. Wait, if everyone is in debt, who's the one collecting? Is there a single person? A secret group? A hidden empire? Some global landlord in a volcano somewhere counting money? That would make a great movie. But reality is stranger, and honestly, way more interesting. Let's break it down, piece by piece. Let's get this out of the way, early. There is no single person or group that countries owe money to. Sorry, no secret billionaire named Lord Deddington. No ancient family controlling world finances from a golden yacht. Nothing that dramatic. Countries borrow from a mix of different lenders. Other countries. Investment funds. Banks. Pension funds. Insurance companies. Corporations. Regular citizens. And sometimes themselves. Yes, you heard that right. Countries loan money to themselves. We'll get to that later. That's the fun part. For now, the key idea is simple. Debt is spread out across millions of investors, institutions, and governments all around the world. So the real mystery isn't who does everyone owe. It's why is everyone always in debt? And the answer is not just surprising. It's kind of mind-blowing. Here's where things get interesting. People often assume debt is bad. A mistake. Something you're supposed to avoid, like expired milk or your ex. But government debt is totally different. In fact, the modern financial system is built on it, intentionally. Debt is how governments fund public projects, stimulate the economy, manage interest rates, respond to recessions, pay for emergencies, balance currency values, and keep people employed. Debt isn't the backup plan. It's not the emergency button. Debt is the engine. It's the whole operating system. If government suddenly said, okay, no more borrowing ever, the economy wouldn't just slow down. It would instantly crash. Your savings account? Gone. Your retirement fund? Gone. Your bank? Probably gone too. Why? Because government debt is the backbone of the global financial system. It's the safest place to store money. Government debt is like the world's savings account. Now, we're getting closer to the truth. Debt comes from two main characters. Number 1, governments which issue bonds, IOUs. Number 2, central banks which create money out of thin air. Yes, they create money with a keyboard. Not metaphorically, literally. When a government needs cash, it issues bonds, promises to pay later. Central banks can buy those bonds using freshly created money. And that is how new debt and new money enter the system. So who's the creator? Technically, governments and central banks working together. But that still doesn't explain why every country stays in debt forever. To understand that, we have to go deeper. This part surprises almost everyone. People imagine a country's debt as something owed to foreign powers, like the U.S. sending checks to China every month. But that's not how it works. In most countries, the majority of a debt is owed to themselves. For example, in the U.S., American pension funds own government debt. American banks own it. American insurance companies own it. American investors own it. Even the U.S. government owns some of its own debt. And the Federal Reserve owns trillions more. That means when politicians yell, we're $37 trillion in debt, a huge portion of that money is literally owed to American citizens and institutions. It's like owing money to your future self. Weird, yes, but that's how the system works. So why borrow at all if it's just moving money from one pocket to another? Because borrowing creates safe assets for investment, liquidity for banks, stability for markets, tools for managing interest rates. a place for retirement funds to grow safely, a backbone for global trade. Debt isn't the problem. It's the structure everything else is built on. Let's zoom back out. Even though most debt is owed internally, plenty of investors around the world also buy it. Why? Because government debt is considered one of the safest investments on the planet. So who buys it? China, Japan, European countries, Middle Eastern governments, tech companies, hedge funds, billionaires, wealthy families, banks, regular people through retirement accounts. Debt is not a villain in a dark suit. It's more like the world's most popular financial product. If government debt had a Yelp page, it'd have 5 stars. If the system works, why does government debt feel so suspicious? Why does it sound like something is going wrong? 3 reasons. Number 1. The numbers are cartoonishly huge. When you hear trillions, your brain shuts down. It's too big to visualize. It feels impossible. Number 2. We compare national budgets to personal budgets. When you owe money, it's stressful. So we assume countries are the same. But they aren't. Countries can print money, borrow forever, raise taxes, control interest rates, expand the money supply, grow their economies. You can't do any of that unless you're hiding something from the IRS. 3. We assume someone must be winning. If there's debt, someone must be collecting, right? Sort of. Investors earn interest. Banks make money. Countries gain leverage. But there's no single puppet master. It's more like a massive interconnected web where everyone owes everyone. It looks chaotic, but it works. Let's finally answer the big question. If every country is in debt, who is the creator? Here's the truth. There is no creator. There is only a system, a global financial machine, built on lending, borrowing, saving, and investing. Debt doesn't come from a person. It comes from interaction. Debt is created whenever a government issues bonds. A central bank adjusts the money supply. A bank buys or sells securities. A pension fund invests for retirees. Countries trade with each other. Investors look for safe places to store cash. Debt is not a villain. It's not a conspiracy. It's not a secret plot. Debt is the world's operating system. A giant cooperative agreement based on trust. And trust, not gold, is the real currency now. Here's the twist ending. The part nobody expects. If countries wanted to, they could clear all the global debt in a single day. All they would need to do is agree to reset the books. One big international accounting meeting. Hey, let's just wipe this clean. Debt erased. But if they did that, banks would implode. Savings would disappear. Global trade would collapse. Currencies would go unstable. Retirement systems would die. The world economy would fall apart. Because, remember, your savings are someone else's debt. Your pension is someone else's debt. Your bank balance is supported by debt. Debt is not just what we owe. It's what we own. And that's why the world stays permanently in debt. Not because someone is forcing it, but because that's how the financial universe holds itself together. So if every country is in debt, who's the creator? We are. Governments, banks, investors, corporations, pension funds, and even regular people. We all participate in creating the global debt system. Debt is not a monster. It's not a puppet master. It's not a global scam. It's a tool, a system, a shared agreement built on trust. A world built not on treasure chests or mountains of gold, but on the belief that tomorrow will come and promises will be kept. That's the real story, and it's much bigger and far stranger than any conspiracy.